Let's see if I can get my laptop going here. Come on, little buddy. Trying to get it going. Crap everywhere like normal. What are you guys doing this Saturday? I've been working on a couple of orders, kind of taking it easy. Slept in, so that was nice. And today we're going to turn a ladle out of some sapele. It's African mahogany. I haven't made one of these in probably 4 or 5 years. Thought it'd be a fun one. I've got a craft show next weekend, so I thought that'd be fun to make. Let me launch this live, see if I can see anybody in the chat, and we'll get started. This laptop's thinking about it, and it's slow. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me switch the camera up. Like I said, we're going to use this African mahogany or sapele. I used a sacrificial block out of ash, so this is going to be the actual, I guess, cup part of the ladle, and then we have another piece of sapele we're going to turn for the handle. So let me switch the camera around and we'll get started. Appreciate you guys stopping in. So we can get this camera going. The camera mount is not working well like it used to. Get this other one around. Sorry about that, guys. Put on my new mask. I'm not going to be talking a lot. I've got a respirator on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, Brian. Hey, Mike. What's happening? Whoa, whoa.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. We are making a Sapele ladle. So this is going to be the bowl of the ladle. This is just a sacrificial piece. And then once we turn this, we're going to turn the handle. So I'm not talking much because I've got a respirator and a mask on. Appreciate you guys joining.
Yeah, it is. Let's drill a hole. Let me grab a drill. This might work. The handle hole.
So while that's drying, we're just popping the grain. We're going to sand it and take this off in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and switch to the handle now.
What's on there? Dang. I said we will. I have to get a wrench. I think so. That's going to be pretty. Oh, so close. All right. I guess that's pushing on it. Too much. That's better. All right. Much better. Awesome, Aardvark. What's up, Chase? Whoopsie. Awesome, man. Enjoy your time. Oh, hello, hello. Okay, thanks, Chase. Zoom out. There you go. Is that better? Yeah. Send me a message, Chase. Here's the mask, Chase. I like it so far. It's pretty good. It doesn't fog up. It's pretty good. Well, that's rough. That thing zoomed in or what? Let's try to smooth this out a little bit. Over here is pretty rough. Let's see what I've got. Let's try the skew. What do you guys think? That's better. Do the same thing over here. Except for that, dang it. That's better. Okay, I can live with that. A little longer. It's a little wide. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You know what? I've never done that. Maybe I should. That's a great idea. Aardvark. I've just glued them in. What I do is I'll glue these in, and that stuff doesn't come out either. But I think what you're suggesting is a foolproof way. That's going to be pretty. Okay. I'm good with that. So I might wedge it though. What do you think? That's a pretty cool idea. All right, let's go fishing. Oh, let's get it. Oh, there we go. You know, we'll sand this off. Let's keep going with the bowl. Let's get this turned off. Hi, Francesco. Glad you're here. Well, let's get a... What do I have? There it is. That's still not sanded. There we go. It could have been deeper. Oh well. We're not done yet though. Now, let's turn this into a jam chuck.
What's up, Cat? We're making a ladle.
All right, yay. Now let's clean up that bottom. Make it look like the bottom. Right now it looks a little weird. Oh, that does not look normal. There's the hole. Okay, so we're gonna round this a little bit more, see if we can. Looking better. Gonna have to figure out how to smooth that. Let's try something else. This guy. To give us a little more holding power. So we can shape this edge. That's what we want to do, is shape that edge. Then we can finish it up. Come on, little buddy. Rick Smith is in the house. What's up, Rick? Hey, so that's better. That's okay. It's not perfect, but.
I think that's pretty good. It softened up the shape of the bowl quite a bit more. That's what I wanted. I think that'll be pretty good.
Let's pop that grain real quick, and we can glue this thing together. Oh yeah, man, it's gonna look good.
What's up, Alexander? Whew. We're taking a quick break. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to go ahead and glue it in. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me grab that handle and wet it down too. So we'll pop the grain on both at the same time, and we'll glue those together real quick. Let me grab my other respirator. I don't feel like sucking in that dust. Oh, there it is. How's it going, Alexander? We're just making a ladle, like a soup ladle. Be kind of cool. Well, good, Alexander. That's always good to have friends visit. I'm going to switch the camera around for a couple minutes while this is drying, guys. Whew. Get away from that dust. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Kat. I haven't made any of these probably in like four years, maybe 5 years. I thought it would be a good idea. I've got a craft show coming up. next Saturday. So I've got the D&D table in progress. I've got all these little projects that are taking a lot more time to finish up before I can focus more on the D&D table. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to take to the craft show next week. I've got to make some more lake maps next week. Pretty neat though. Keeping busy. What projects are you guys working on this week? Sorry, Alexander. Here, let me show it to you. I'm liking it. Yeah, it looks like this, Alexander. But I like it because on the lathe, with my face shield, it's hard to wear the respirator. So this is easier. So, hey, I got to keep my lungs safe. You know what I mean? So, Aardvark recommended doing a split tenon to hold the handle into the bowl of the ladle. I haven't done that before. I've just done glue, Type Bond 3 glue, which is food safe and waterproof. So I don't know. That's a cool idea. I haven't done a lot of that, but you basically just cut a hole down the shaft and then you push it through the hole and then wedge it. And it's a mechanical joint, you know, with usually you glue and screw something when you're building a piece of furniture or whatever. So you have a mechanical and a glue joint. It's the same principle. Kat, where are you moving to? Same city? I hate moving, by the way. It's way too much work. I'm just having an afternoon iced coffee. Hopefully I go to sleep tonight. Ooh, Kat, which lake do you live near? Since you mentioned lake, I'm going to show you one of my lakes I finished today. Give me just a sec. Lake Erie. Hey, Kat, here's one of the things. These are one of my big sellers. I make the custom frames, and then I pour epoxy for the water, and I make those for any lake in the world. So you mentioned lake. I was like, hey, yeah, these are some of the things I make for my craft shows. It's fun time. The custom frames make it really pop with the nice wood. That's a good way if you guys are trying to look for ideas at craft shows to make your crafts stand out. That really helps by using nicer wood if you can. What's up, Dan the Man? If you guys didn't know, Dan with Elegant Woodcraft is my #1 channel member. Sorry, had to do a little Daniel there, you know. What's up, Dan? We just made a ladle on the lathe. We're about to go finish sand it, and we're going to glue it together. We made a ladle, bowl, and a handle. So pretty cool. Let's go see if we can sand it. Let's get the respirator back on. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it looks like it's dry. Let's flip it around and get you guys a view. Let me get you back in there. Let's finish sand this. We're going to glue it up. Let me get you a better view, guys. Sorry about that. All right, all right. Whoops.
Okay, we got to sand that. Now, check this out, Dan. Holy crap, Dan, are you serious? Wow, dude. Dan, you are the crazy man. Thank you, Dan. Woo woo, baby. And hey, guys, I just put a new members only video. Sorry, Dan. I just put out a new, here, let me show you guys. So let's finish this and I'll show you what I did for what I. Hey, Runic, what's up, man? So here's what it looks like, guys. This is what we just made on the lathe. Oh, crap, I didn't know this was jacked. Oh, I need to just sand it, never mind. So it's a soup ladle made out of sapele. Now, here's the thing. To get that curve in there, I might have to take this to the oscillating sander. Woo, about dropped it. I'm trying to think if that'll work or not. Yeah, I think I will. But I've got to finish sand this, and once I glue it in, I just take a carving tool, get that little nub off, and finish sand this by hand. Thanks. I think it's pretty neat. I haven't made one in a long time. I could have went deeper with the bowl. But, you know, other than that, it's probably, I think that's about a 2/3 of a cup. So, what do you guys think? Do you like that? I think I've got to get better than that. I don't like that joint. The one I made before wasn't curved. Hey, what's up, Spirit, Wind, Woodstone, and Bone? Thanks for joining. So we just made this sapele ladle. I've got to finish sand the end here. I've got to glue this in. I think I'm going to go ahead and go to the oscillating sander to see if I can get a better one. How's that? Is that better? Just kidding. Sorry. Thanks, guys. That was fun. I haven't made one of these in like probably 5 years. I made 2 and sold them at craft shows. I've got a craft show coming up next Saturday. So I thought this would be a fun live, and I haven't made one. So I think my skills have improved a little bit since I made the first one way back. So yeah, thanks, Kat. So I'm going to go. All right, here's the truth. It's a pain in the butt to get to my sander. Let me show you. But I'm going to sand it and see if we can get it better. It's way over there behind all those sheet goods, so give me just a sec. I'm going to go sand this. Well, actually, I don't think I can. Never mind. I think I'm stuck with how it is. I didn't think about that. See, that curvature, if I would have thought about, I'm not sure how I would do that. Since it's got this tenon, I don't think I can shape it anymore. So I think I'm just going to have to glue that in and call it good. I mean, it's going to be stable and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in. I didn't think about it. Usually I leave the bowl square so it glues in really easy. Runic, what are you up to today? So I'm going to go sand this real quick. Let's bust the sander out because I want to glue this up. I like it.
Whoops, there went one of my microphones. It happens so often. I brushed the dust off myself and these microphones pop off. I don't know where the metal piece is. All right. See, I think you guys had a suggestion. Alexander says, or just drill a bit so the handle goes in a few millimeter. Alexander, are you saying get a bit the size of this larger shaft and drill it in slightly? I think that's what you're saying. That might work. That's a big bit though. I wish it didn't have that. I didn't think about that earlier. Awesome, Spirit Wind. I'll see if I can give you a follow. Appreciate you. Appreciate you stopping in. Let me see if I've got a bit that big. I don't know if I do. If I do, that's a pretty good idea, Alexander. Let's see what I've got. I love it. You guys give me great ideas. I appreciate it. So this one's a little too small. Let's see if I've got anything bigger. Try one more place, see if I can find another bit. All right, Kat. That's too big. Not crazy. Well, quite a bit bigger. Ooh, I think I may have found it. That's exactly the same size, so that's too small. So that size is too small. You know, guys, we're going to try it. What the heck, you know? We're going to try it. Alexander had a pretty good idea. And I like trying this better than... Ooh, what's a butterfly bit, Alexander? Thanks, Spirit Wind. I know, man. That's the problem, Aardvark. You know, I think... Man, I'm tempted to change it, but I don't want to mess it up. Because honestly, that looks pretty good. I'm just... Man, I wish I could make it just a little better right there. Trying to think how I could. You know what? How about this, guys? How about I just take this to the sander and sand that flat? I think problem solved. Okay, that's what I'm doing. That's a lot safer. Oh, hey, great idea, Dan. That's what I just thought of, man. Aardvark says, take 2 jaws off your chuck and turn it in. Oh, I see what you're saying. Aardvark, are you saying put 2 jaws in here and then make this flatter? I think I'm just going to go sand this like Dan mentioned and I just came up with as well. I just thought of that about the same time as Dan. I'm going to go sand this real quick. Be right back.
I like it. That's a lot better.
All right, I like it a lot better. Hey, what's up, Danger? So, problem solved. That's a lot better. Oh, sorry. That's a lot better reveal. I can always sand this to soften it, but I like that better. I don't like that big crack that was showing. So it's time for some glue. Let's glue this up. Let me go grab my Titebond 3, which is waterproof and food safe. Let me get this dry glue off. You'd think I'd think of this because it happens every day. So. That's fine. Alright, now let's dip it in some water, clean off that glue. You know, it's not as good as I... It's decent, but it's, yeah, it's alright. Have to look up some different techniques, or try a different technique to make it a little better next time. Dan, this is a usable piece. I think this is my 3rd one I ever made. I haven't made any for 4 or 5 years. This is a usable piece. I'll shape this off once this is dry in about 24 hours. I can come back with a chisel, a rounded chisel, scoop that off, finish sand right here where the glue is, and I'll put some food safe mineral oil, and that thing can be used. You can actually put liquids in it. Hey Dan, you're welcome for the glue tip. Hashtag you're welcome. But yeah, it's a usable piece, man. Yeah, Dan, soups. Yeah, you could do soups if you wanted to. Have you ever heard of Japanese tea ceremony? You can make a different version for a Japanese tea ceremony for serving tea. But no, it's for soups. And it's a decorative piece. I mean, it can be used though. Honestly, I've only made 2 before. I haven't received feedback whether they use them or just hang them up. A lot of times when I first started, my mom, she would never use my cutting boards because she goes, they're too pretty. So she would just leave them on the counter, you know, laying up. But so that's it, guys. Let me show you. I forgot I was going to show you something for members only. On my channel, we have memberships, but for the members only, I just put up a video today about a jig to cut this hole in wood. Dan, what drives you crazy? So on my members only videos, I put this out today. You'll get the free file for laser or CNC if you email me. So Dan, if you want that template, you can cut it on your laser and use the template with the flush trim bit. How's that? Any better? Oh yeah, totally, Dan. So yeah, this is one of the 4 cutting boards I was working on earlier today. Got walnut. What is that? That's African sapele, which is what we were just working with. And there's another one with, I think, cherry or maple and sapele. Hey, Dan, remind me. That's why I just started painting them. Nice, Runic. Thanks, Alexander. I designed it on my laser. So I designed it on the laser, and then I used my big router to flush trim it with a template. So it turns out really good. You don't really have to sand it, and then I round it over. So I've still got to finish sand all these boards Monday. And I've got to do some juice grooves on a couple of them. But, so yeah, that's it, guys. Dan, good question. How's the D&D table? Honestly, Dan, all that wood I got a week and a half ago, it's kept me really busy. That's what I worked on yesterday. I can't rush the D&D table. It has to be just right. So I'll be starting that back up Monday, hopefully. And then, or Monday or Thursday. But I don't anticipate it being done for a few weeks. I don't want to rush it. And I've got to design at least 3 accessories. So yeah, Dan, I'll do a video on the juice screws for you. I'll show you how I make a jig, because check this out. They want, here, let me move these bits real quick. I don't want to mess this board up. They want juice screws on one side of this board. So I'll make a video on it, Dan. Hey, Script. Hello from the United States. Thanks for joining us from the Ukraine. So Dan, I'll be putting I haven't done it yet on this one, but what I'll be doing, juice screws all the way around, and you want to make sure it's on this side of the handle. So I'll probably be using the glue, hot glue, or probably not hot glue, but super glue and blue tape trick for this section. And then over here, I'm just going to put a board all the way around, I think. I'll show you. I'll make a video on it, Dan. I've got to do it Monday, so I'll put a video up quick. It'll be a short one. I used to have a table that I, was dedicated to juice screws, but Yeah, definitely, Alexander. Yeah, definitely. I haven't made one of those, Alexander. They sell for a decent amount here in the United States. I just haven't made any. But all right, guys. So this is what we made on the live. This is a Sapele ladle. It's already finished sanded. I'm just going to trim that off with once it dries. So probably Monday I'll trim that up, give it a finish these cutting boards, and get ready for the next one, or keep going. Yeah, Dan, right now I've got the table legs glued up. I've got 6 table legs for that hex table. That's as far as I've gotten. I've been designing the rest, so. All right, guys, appreciate you stopping in. Hope you're having a good one. I think 77 Rockets and Mike DeLauder from the Whack and Shack are going live here in, I think they might have just went live. So go check them out. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dan. Talk to you guys later. See ya, Kat.